Hey guys, I am back with day 37 of committing to 5 days of live streaming, and I'm doing day 7 of asking for more on participating in a challenge that the coaching community that I belong to is called Creating, and um, and we are doing a coaching challenge until I think October 23rd, where we're competing around how many asks we can make. And by an ask, that is a direct ask to either work with somebody or for an offer or something like, do you know of X? Do you know of someone who would want this offer? Or is that something that you would like to look into? So a direct ask. It's not, and you can be creative with what the ask is. But what we're doing is again, what I do tells me about who I am. So what I'm doing is instead of just posting on LinkedIn, where I can just post and people don't have to respond to it, I am directly like via email and via LinkedIn in people's direct messages in the chat. I'm asking them for things. Okay, so the results is not really the point. The point is the being, is the feeling that creates in us the upgrade to your operating system. Okay, so what I'm doing is I am doing follow-ups today. Follow-ups. Um, so I am going to basically follow up with the people who have responded to me positively or negatively. The response doesn't matter. The point is that I follow up with them. Okay, because of what following up creates. Because once people start to talk to you, then you can work with them. Because a no, for example, a no just means a that there's something about your offer or the way you approach them that they don't that they might that may not resonate with them, right? A no is still a response, like what John Reese says, the famous internet marketer John Reese. There's a really great video of John Reese being interviewed by Tony Robbins. Fascinating interview, but one of the important things he says is that um, everything is a result, yes or no. What happens is that we get demoralized when we don't get the kind of result we wanted. So what this asking for more is creating with results. So okay, the result is a no. Okay, great. Can you tell me what exactly about this you didn't like? Oh well, I didn't like that there wasn't a price attached. Oh, really? Okay, well, here's the price. Is that a yes now? Oh, well, yes. You see that? Whereas sometimes we'll get a no and we'll shut down. And it's it's going to be challenging if you're like me, you're trying to launch like a business and trying to get good at running a business. You have to be able to create relationships with other human beings. So if you're fundamentally estranged from other human beings and you have no filter and no boundaries, and what they tell you just goes right into your brain, and and your operating system just processes it and integrates it instead of either challenging it or negotiating. So dealing with people in sales, part of it is challenging, is negotiating, is um, is massaging your approach, changing your approach. That's something that Tony Robbins talks about a lot. Changing your approach. Maybe if you change your approach for this ask or this offer, somebody may say, actually, that does sound interesting, right? So no is just the beginning of a conversation that can possibly lead to yes down the line, right? If you're willing to listen to people. So part of the exercise is listening. What does no, what does that mean? Right? Some people respond negatively to everything all the way up until checkout. because that's just their programming, is to respond negatively and critically to everything. They'll be at the store buying this pen, and they'll be complaining about the pen just because that's their programming, to complain about everything. There's something inside them where that keeps them safe when they do that, because it lowers the expectations, and I don't want to get disappointed. And the way to avoid getting disappointed is to expect the worst of everything. So, and that's a muscle that some people have, that it would benefit them to work on. We're not going to say they have to or they should work on it, but it would benefit them to work on that. All right. So again, I'm going to put up, let's see, I'm going to put up my working silently tonight. And I already have put in my journal, I've already listed out the asks that I want to follow up on. Here we go. Great. Right. So the reason why we have a whole session of doing the follow up is because you have to read people's response, right? It's like in martial arts, it's always faster and easier and more effective to hit first. Why is that? Because if you don't hit first, if the other person, if you don't hit first, the other person attacks first. If they attack first, you now have two things for your brain to process. So one, you have to estimate the trajectory and the speed of that attack, where it's coming, what's coming after that. Then you have to see it coming. Then you have to decide what you're going to do about it. So you have to look in your sort of library of movements. If it's not in your muscle memory and your flow and intuition, it still takes a whatever millisecond to process that attack, and therefore it is always easier to attack first. You should always attack first. So that's something I just gave you. 50% of martial arts knowledge is attack first, right? And that's why most martial arts, I include myself in this, most martial artists actually are not prepared to deal with the ferocity of a street attack, of a prison attack with like a shank or something like that, because that's just sewing machine, in and out, in and out, in and out, and it's too much to process. It's too much to process what to do about those attacks, right? So I that is related to what I'm talking about tonight. So I'm going to leave that there. All right. Well, I'm going to go on mute, and I'm going to work as long as I need to work to get these asks, to get these responses followed up on. Again, these are responses to asks that I've sent out, right? And so the positive thing is that now I get to address. I put all this work out for the past, let's see, 6 days, right? And now I'm getting responses back. Some of the responses um, are one word or one sentence answers. Some people wrote me like really long paragraphs. Okay, so I have to read through those, and actually you have to read between the lines and listen to what people are telling you. Okay, all right. I'm going to go on mute, and I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. All right. So I've done sort of one portion of follow up, and I realized again, once you get back into action, you start learning from the action. Learning and being come from action. So again, just like how in martial arts, the advice is to always hit first. That's 50% of martial arts. You can beat 50% of martial artists if you just attack first, right? And with ferocity, right? So if you just start attacking the problem, start working on it, things come from that. Opportunities open up after you start taking action. You don't wait for opportunities. You again do not wait until the iron is hot to strike. Rather make the iron hot by striking. Okay, so I'm gonna finish my follow-ups tomorrow, and I'll see you guys later. And I'm gonna end the stream.